test out your travel capability, no, compatibility. Compatible. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right, but hopefully I am. I hope I don't be looking dumb on this day going story time. Okay, my first story time and I'm looking dumb. No. Compatible? Compatible? Is it compatible? Maybe it's compatible. I keep on saying combat, but okay. Friendship lasted through Miami. Okay, and if yours didn't last, I don't know, like, was it really a friendship? What's up, Court Crew, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Courtney Janine, and I'm back with another video. I asked you guys on my community tab to pick the topic that I would talk about during this get ready with me, and you guys voted for a story time. Today is going to be a full get ready with me, and while I get ready, I'm going to be telling you guys a story. But in terms of the full get ready with me, we're going to be doing hair, makeup. I'm going to be showing you guys my outfit, and of course I'm going to tell you guys my fragrance of the night. So if you would like to see how I transform from this to this, then definitely keep watching. Before we get into it, if this is your first time seeing me here on the White Tee, don't forget to subscribe, join the Court Crew family down below, and let's get into today's video. So of course we're going to start with hair. Today's unit is going to be the Freetress Equal Level Up HD Lace Front Wig in the style Ariana, and I picked it up in the color FF Cream. This I'm super excited about. I have had this unit for a minute, but I just have not tried it, or I haven't opened it yet. So I am going to just do a test. I'm gonna just unbox it really quickly and show you guys what it looks like. I already have a plan that I am going to cut bangs into this unit, so I just want to see if the lace is giving. I might go ahead and install it. If it's not giving, then I'll do bangs at the end. So I'm just going to unbox this. We'll talk about the key features really quickly. I have reviewed a unit from this collection before, so if you haven't checked out my Freetress Level Up HD Lace Front Wig in the style Kamala, then definitely check out that video. But yeah, I'm going to quickly unbox this and I'll be back to give you guys the try on and the key features. All right, you guys, so like I mentioned before, this isn't my first time trying a unit from this collection. Y'all see that color? Gorgeous. Okay, so let me talk about the key features. So the key features of the Freetress Equal Level Up HD Lace Front Wig are pre-plucked to perfection, no additional plucking required, durable HD lace that blends in perfectly, ready to wear. And again, this is in the style Ariana, the color FF Cream. It is also the color that's on the stock card. The cap construction is standard. It has a comb in the back, an adjustable strap, and a comb on each side. And here is the inside of the cap. All right, you guys, so this is the hair straight of the pack. The color is okay. I don't know. Yeah, the color's okay, not my favorite. I kind of want to like completely transform this wig. This hair is just a little bit thin. So what I'm thinking of doing is cutting it here to the shoulders, like right here, so that, you know, you have all this like kind of, it's fuller, and then it gets like these thin ends, if you guys can see. So I kind of want to cut it here, and I'm not sure about the bangs. I kind of want to see what it looks like once I cut it here. So I think I'm going to do that straight out the pack. Bangs probably would be cute. Not totally sure. So I am going to just cut it here, and then yeah, I'm going to cut it there and see what it's giving. I do think that this lace looks really good though. So I'm kind of tempted to install it natural, but it's just so hot that I really want just like a throw on and go type of unit today. Yeah, I'm going back and forth, but I think the thing that I know I want to do is definitely cut the ends. I'm gonna try to mimic a similar style to how I cut Safina from Outre. So first things first, I'm gonna cut it here and here. So I'm just gonna take some scissors. Perfect. So now we're here. Super cute, perfect for the summer. Now you see how like the ends are very blunt, but what's the good thing about this unit is that it already had a lot of layers, so it was kind of just like cutting off that last layer, and it just already looks so much more better. Now the hair is like kind of giving, I'm not gonna lie, like you can tell that they pre-plucked it. Is it giving? They literally, I think they like pre-plucked just this, which I'm not mad at, just because I usually do the same thing. Yeah, I love this. This is kind of giving me first lady type of vibes, but I love it. Okay, now I'm thinking about the bangs, but I'm just thinking like how I would do it. Okay, I think I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, y'all, hold on, I'll be back. guys, so I just finished doing the hair. Of course I had to take off the wig because of the bangs, like it's gonna be hard for me. I don't even know why I'm working so hard on these daggone brows, because I did my brows off camera, and now I'm just thinking like these are about to be covered up, like covered up with the bangs. So I don't know why I'm taking all this time, but it's time to get into this story time. Okay, so today's story time is going to be about the craziest spring break ever. I don't know what I'm going to title this. It's probably going to be a little bit clickbaity, not even gonna lie. It all took place my senior year of college, and how this kind of came about is that me and my friend, I'm gonna name her, I already kind of came up with their names, so they're all like named after R&B singers. One, because this first person that I'm going to be talking about, her real name is a R&B singer's name, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna still name her an R&B singer, someone who was still like around the time that her real name person was popular in R&B. I'm gonna name someone else at that time who was like super popular too. And then I was like, okay, let me just stay with that theme of like R&B singers. So the first person that we're going to be talking about, her name is Brandy, and I'm gonna name her Brandy. And basically me and her was super duper close. We were planning our trip, our spring break trip. We were like, we should go on a trip. We hadn't really traveled before this trip, so we were like, oh my gosh, we should do a spring break trip. You know how you can't travel with just anybody? Like there's always different types of vibes when you travel, and with her it was like we're always on the same page. So yeah, and if you've never traveled with your friends before, you definitely have to, like, I don't know, I'm not saying you have to like test out your travel compatible, I don't know, you have to test it out. I saw someone on Twitter say that she like tested out her friends, their travel compatibility, and I think that's really true. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right, but hopefully I am. I hope I don't be looking dumb on this daggone story time. Okay, my first story time and I'm looking dumb? No. So anyways, me and Brandy, we really were like, I would say we were very compatible. Is it compatible? Maybe it's compatible. I keep on saying combat, but okay. So me and Brandy were really compatible when it came to traveling, because we were very like go with the flow type of people. We liked the same things in terms of like experiences, like we were very compatible. So anyways, we were like, oh my gosh, we should go to Miami. I was like, we should go to Miami, or we kind of came to this consensus that we should go to Miami. Now I don't really remember how other two friends, Monica, I'm gonna name them Monica and Brian, after Monica the singer, and then Brian McKnight. I couldn't think of any other names. So yeah, so I don't really know how they got into the trip, but at first it was just gonna be me and Brandy, and then our group got bigger to include Brian and Monica. So the first crazy thing that kind of happened was the Airbnb. Now our Airbnb, where is my you guys know I be looking crazy when I'm doing my color corrector, but what was I saying? Okay, so the first thing that was crazy was our Airbnb. Now, like I mentioned before, this was a college trip, so of course ain't nobody balling in college, okay? None of us were balling. Like we all had like maybe the most like 2 jobs on campus, so like we were not balling at all. So we were trying to really cut costs when it came to our Airbnb. And like I mentioned before, or I don't know if I mentioned this, but me and Brandy were really much like, we were very like go with the flow type of people, and so Monica had found this Airbnb. Now the one thing that I will say about this Airbnb, it was super affordable, and this was my first time going with Airbnb, like ever traveling and using Airbnb. And to be honest, it's probably the reason why I don't know, like I've never been an Airbnb girl, and this one kind of scarred me, I'm not gonna lie. And I just feel like, especially nowadays with like inflation and just the pandemic and things like that, I feel like a lot of Airbnbs be the same price as a hotel, and I'm just like, why wouldn't you just pay for a hotel? I'm that type of girl now, and I didn't really know that because I had not used Airbnb before this trip, so I was pretty like open-minded. Now what I will say is that what we knew from this Airbnb was that it was a bit away from Miami, so that's what made this Airbnb super duper affordable for us. But what was crazy is that once we got there, we ended up spending like more money on Ubers because it was so far from everything, from the strip, from Miami Beach. So honestly, if you are like ever planning a trip, I would say I would prioritize location and like finding a good place near everything you want to go, instead of trying to cut costs when it comes to a place to stay, and then you'll just end up paying for it in the end because you're gonna have to like Uber back and forth. So that's just a pro tip. Mind you, I did not know any of this before going on this trip, so I learned that. Like, so the first thing, it wasn't even that this, like, the Airbnb wasn't super nice. Like, even from the pictures it didn't look super nice, but again, it was affordable. We would all be staying together, so it's like, okay. And also, we didn't have the full house to ourselves, so that was like a little bit weird. 2 days, or like it was close to the trip. Like, we had already booked this place and like it was close to the trip. I don't know if it was 2 days or like we were the next day out, or it was like a week before, but we were getting close to the trip. And Brian is like, hold on you guys, did you all look at this? Why does it say now the listing for the Airbnb says that the owner has pets? Now, current day Courtney, I do want a dog for myself. I've always like wanted a dog, but like I don't like other people's dogs. I don't know, it's weird. But I've never been a cat person. And like this Airbnb host was legit on her Ariana. Like, you know how Ariana Grande literally has a whole farm? Like, she has pigs, cats, dogs. That's what this girl was giving. And you guys, I swear she updated the listing like 2 days before we were planning to bounce to Miami. So it was gonna be hard for us to find a new place. And we're like, what? Like, I was going back and forth. I was like, I know that she had to have added this after we booked this thing, which is just shady in general. Just very shady. Like, Brandy didn't mind cats or dogs. Monica didn't mind cats and dogs. Like I mentioned before, I wasn't a huge pet person, and neither was Brian. So we were kind of like, ooh, but we kind of sucked it up because what were we gonna do? We weren't gonna pay more money, and it was getting close to, like I mentioned, it was close to the trip. And when you're traveling during spring break, it's always gonna be pretty hectic because most of the time all the colleges are on spring break at the same time. Okay, so that was the first like kind of thing that was just like, what the heck. Okay, let me start talking about our encounter with this random man. I'm gonna call him Bieber, but let's get into the story because I feel like it's a build up to how we met him and just a lot of things. So keep this in mind, like I mentioned before. Oh, and I know that this is like a story time get ready with me, and this is my first kind of story time get ready with me. So I'm really just, you know, doing my makeup and talking at the same time. But if you are interested in any of these products that I am using, this is essentially going to be my everyday like kind of makeup tutorial. So I will link that down below. If you are interested in any of the products I'm using, I'll have them linked, and I'll also link to the full tutorial if you want that. Back to the story. I think we were about a day into the trip. It was either like a day into the trip or 2 days into the trip. I can't remember how long the trip was. I remember that we came back once spring break was already over because most of us did not have classes on Mondays, so we like came back on like a Tuesday, but I can't remember how many days our trip was. Anyways, that's not super important about like how I think we were a day into the trip because we knew how like far away our Airbnb was, so we were trying to get out of the Airbnb earlier in the day. One, because then there wouldn't be much traffic and so it would be less money, and then also so we can get our money's worth, like we could be out on the strip doing things. So I remember this day, like I mentioned before, me and Brandy are more like go with the flow type of people. We're not super planners. We're okay if like the schedule kind of fluctuates, but in a group, like, you know, you kind of want to get the most out of your vacation. So we were trying to hurry up, but we were doing our makeup and stuff. We were like super duper slow. I just remember being like rushed, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we're hurrying up. So we were trying to go, and then we end up, I think he like dropped us off at the beach. It was like weird. We got dropped off at this random location, I think because it was a lot of traffic, and so our Uber driver was kind of like, oh, here, you can go here. So we were walking around, and like I mentioned, we were super, did I mention? But we were super, I remember we were hungry. But like I mentioned before, me and Brandy were more, I say like go with the flow, but also like I wouldn't say stuck up. Like, what's a good adjective? Like, I just remember we were walking towards the beach, and like I mentioned, we were hungry. Now this is where our group split up. We were walking and we passed this kind of mom and pop shop to eat because like I mentioned, we were hungry. But to me, like, we're in Miami, like I want to have like an experience. So I was like, I don't really want to stop at this mom and pop shop. So we decided to split up and meet up later. Brian and Monica stopped and ate at this mom and pop shop. That's all I can kind of like say for it. And me and Brandy started walking towards the beach and ended up at the W Hotel. Now we ended up at the W Hotel. It was actually very funny because we heard music, so we knew that there was a party going on. And so we stopped at the W Hotel. We ended up eating there, one because there was a pool there, and so we were like, oh, we should kind of get in the pool. But then also we heard the music, so we were kind of excited about going over to the party if we could get in after eating. And we were like texting. I remember texting like Brian and Monica were like, oh my gosh, meet us at the W Hotel, there's a party going on and we can definitely go. So we were at the W Hotel. Anyways, fast forward, we eat and everything like that. We meet back up with Brian and Monica at this party. And so we were split up, one because they came after, and then two, like I believe that Brian and Monica, after eating, they went to the beach for a little bit, and then we were like, oh, come to the W Hotel, there's this party that's going on. And they met us at the W Hotel, like this party or like day party kind of thing, after they went to the beach. So again, we split up at the party, one because they came later than us because we were already there, I think, or that's how I remember it, child. We split up again. Me and Brandy were trying to figure out how to get into the VIP. Monica and Brian were kind of just like chatting, you know, meeting people and things like that. Like I mentioned before, we were split up, and Brian and Monica meet this guy. His name is Bieber. He was at the party too. From what I understand, like I mentioned, me and Brandy were trying to get into VIP. From what I gathered is that they thought he had like more friends than he did. There was a lot of people at this party, and like he was just in the mix with this other friend group. But essentially Bieber kind of told them that he had, I might bleep that out just because I want to get monetized. Like I don't want to get demonetized, but honestly did not know any of this was happening. Like I mentioned before, Brandy and I were trying to get into VIP. So then the party is like winding down, and like I mentioned before, Bieber kind of said that he would be able to get them. And honestly, at this point, I still didn't know like how they met this guy, but they were just telling us like, come on, we're about to leave. But what I did know was that Bieber had a car. And like I mentioned before, he got us in a vulnerable he got us in a vulnerable position because like I mentioned before, y'all, our Airbnb was so far from Miami Beach. Like we were spending like $60, like $70 to get to Miami every single time. So the fact that he had a car was clutch, because then we were able to save money on Ubers. So I was excited that he was able to take us to the strip. Yeah, because we were on the beach, but we weren't as close to the strip. So first weird thing that happened once we met Bieber was that literally it was it was just weird. He was very weird about Brian. So the first thing that happened that I like remember distinctively is that Brian had to go to the bathroom, and we were in the car like driving to the strip. And what was weird is that Bieber was kind of like, no, you can just get out here and go in the bushes. And we were like, what? But then like 2 minutes later, Brandy said, oh, I have to go to the bathroom too. And so then he was like, oh, I know a place. And we like stopped and he like showed her where to go to the bathroom. And so Brian was like, what the heck? That was weird. And the second thing that was weird, there were just a lot of red flags. So the next weird thing was once we got to the strip, we were like parked and stuff, and we were getting out of the car. Now, mind you, Brandy, Monica, and I believe that I think I had a fanny pack, but like Brandy had a purse, and then Monica might have had like a purse or a small backpack or something. But Brian also had a backpack, just because one, like I mentioned, we were far away from Miami Beach, so like we would pack a lot of things so we didn't have to go back to the Airbnb and waste money on an Uber. So we were getting out of the car, and Bieber and Brian kind of get into it because Brian's like, why you don't need your backpack, Brian, like leave it in the car. And Brian's like, huh, like we might split up, we might go home and you can't take us home, like, and then Brian was like, well, they have, no, I think at first he was like, well, they have their purses and stuff, and then Bieber was like,
but they're girls, like they need their purse.
And we were like, he can take his backpack, like why do you want him to leave his backpack in your car? Then we'll have to like come back here if we like split up and stuff. So that was the first weird thing, because it was like, why don't you want Brian to have his backpack? But we kind of looked over that and we kept walking. So we like pushed back against Bieber and was like, no, he needs his backpack, like we might split up, all this Jess. Then we are walking the strip, we stop, we get like these little moon balls. I don't know what to call them, but like it's where it's like frozen balls, and so when you eat them it's kind of like ice and then like smoke comes out because it's made with dry ice or something like that. I don't really know. So we stopped to get that, and we are just kind of making our way down the strip. Now this is important because we are making our way to this party that we had heard about. At the party at the W Hotel, Brandy met this like influencer girl, while like the influencer was super into Brandy's like entire look, her hair, her outfit. And so the influencer was like, oh my gosh, come to this party that is gonna be here. So we go to, it was like another hotel party, but it was on the strip. So we end up going to the hotel to try to see if we were get in, but I don't know what time it was, but like they said it was over or something like that. And so once we got there, we got into it again with Bieber because he was like, why are we going here? Like, we don't need to go here. And we were like, but we want to kind of see what this party's about. Like, why can't we? And that's when we're like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, what is wrong with him? Like, so after this happened, I think we were trying to figure out a way to ditch him. Like, we got into this huge argument about like why we wanted to go to this party. And so then we like leave him. We were like, okay, we're gonna leave. Y'all, mind you, we go to this like place that had like a lot of different margaritas or something like that. I remember it was like known for their margaritas, and we stopped there. Now we thought we had gotten rid of Bieber. Like, we literally like left him. We were like, no, like we're fine, we're gonna go do this. Y'all, tell me why. Like, the margarita place, I think it was called Margaritaville, I don't know, but the margarita place was literally across the street from this like gay bar, but like drag race type of thing. And so tell me why we are at the margarita place and literally next door, so we have this table outside like just drinking our margaritas and stuff, trying to have a good time. I literally am like, oh my gosh, I see Bieber at the place like literally next door, and I'm like, y'all, he's right there. Like, we had literally tried to get away from him and he was right there, and we were like, oh my gosh, like what the heck? And he was trying to get like come over to us. We were like, no, like we could try to duck our heads and stuff like that. And so then this is where it got crazy. So then we actually like left him, and then I remember that once we had realized that Bieber was gone from the place next door, he kind of got the idea that we were like not trying to mess with him anymore. After that, literally Brian and Brandy went over to that same place to go dancing, because at the margarita place there wasn't a dance floor, there wasn't much space for them to even dance, and they didn't have as much music as the place next door. So Brian and Brandy left to go check that place out and like just dance and things like that. And so I was left with Monica. Now Monica said she had to go to the bathroom, and so she left the table no, did she leave before? Yeah, she left before Brandy and Brian left to go dancing. So then I'm just like waiting for them to come back. I'm just like waiting at the table. It's been like, I feel like 30 minutes. It's been like, maybe it's been 45 minutes since Monica left, but 30 minutes since Brandy and Brian left. So Brandy and Brian come back and they're like, where's Monica? And I'm like, wait, y'all are right. Like, it has been a minute since I've seen Monica. I was like, you know, she said she had to go to the bathroom, but she hasn't been back. And they were like, should we like check on her? And I was like, yeah. So I think Brandy had gotten up to go check out the bathroom, because you guys, the margarita place, it's a freaking place to eat, so of course they have a bathroom. So Brandy goes into the bathroom to like check on Monica, and Brandy comes back and she's like, she's not there. And I'm like, what do you mean she's not there? Like, how did we lose her? Like, where did she go? Like, she said she was just going to the bathroom. If she left this place, I should have seen her leave. And so I'm like, what the heck? And so we're calling Monica, we're calling Monica. Monica does not pick up, y'all, because we're just trying to be like, okay, where's she at? Like, she said she was just going to the bathroom. We don't see her. I remember like, oh, I think I have her location. Yeah, we just always had each other's location. So I looked at it and I was like, it says she's at this random hotel. You guys, we freaked out. We like, I can't really remember if we had already paid. I feel like we had already paid our tab, so we like freaked out. We like chugged our drinks, and then we were like on the move. We were like, we have to find her, I think we walked there because it wasn't super duper far, and outside there was like people about to get into a fight, all this, and we're like, where is Monica? Where is Monica? So we go inside, and you guys, Monica is literally talking to, what do they call the people at the hotel who are just like checking people in? The concierge? I don't know what they call them, but she was talking to the two people there, and we're like, Monica, why didn't you answer our calls? Like, where have you been? Why didn't you go to the bathroom at Margaritaville? Like, what are you doing? Like, so scared. And she's like, chill guys, like the bathroom at Margaritaville was super disgusting, so I came here. And mind you, like this hotel looks so scary. Like it was dark as heck in there. Like it looked so scary. Outside people were about to get into a fight. Like we were like, girl, you cannot do that. I was like, could you at least told me that you weren't gonna go to the bathroom there? Like, girl, what? Like, what? I was like, girl, you definitely could have told us that you were not gonna go to the bathroom at Margaritaville. So after that, I can't remember what we did. I feel like we just went back home because it was really like a stressful night, and I feel like that was all. I'm trying to think, was there anything else that happened during that trip that was like crazy? I feel like that's all that kind of happened, but that day was literally insane. Like like crazy. So yeah, you guys, I'm just gonna finish up this makeup and I'll be right back, because we gotta do this hair. We gotta finish up this hair. We have to see what the hair looks like with this look and put on the outfit. But yeah, you guys, let me know down below, have you ever went to Miami? I feel like so many people have stories about Miami and like just getting into it there. So if you ever like lost a friendship, to this day we are all still friends. It was more so just Bieber in general, and we did have that little fight when we were thinking about where we wanted to eat and when we split up. But after that trip was so funny. We talk about it all the time. And yeah, but if you tell me your craziest spring break down in the comments, I would love to know. You know, I'm nosy. I'm going to go in with my lip gloss. A face. Okay, I'm going to go put on my hair and my outfit, and then I'll be back to show you guys the final look. Alright, core crew, and here's the final look of today's get ready with me. So I'm just going to go through the hair. So again, the hair is Freetress Level Up HD Lace Front Wig in the style Ariana. FF Cream. Showed you all how I cut this, so I just cut off the loose ends. This wig was kind of thin, on the thinner side. Reminds me a lot of Sensational Vice Unit 10, which was also pretty thin. So what I did was go in and cut where it was thin. As you can see, this is like giving very natural vibes, but when you have the ends on it, it just looks super duper thin. So I cut those, and then did I say the color is FF Cream. I also cut bangs, which I showed you all how I did that, and I essentially do my bangs the same every single time. Jewelry. So the jewelry I have on this necklace and some earrings, they are both from Princess Polly. The dress is from Target, $12, y'all. You cannot beat it. I am pairing this dress with some white accessories. So my bag is from Zara, and then also my shoes are from Nordstrom Rack. Fragrance. So today for fragrance, I have a bit of time before I go out, so I am going to be adding this on a little bit later, but I am going to be accessorizing with some Body Lava. This is in the shade Brown Sugar. You guys, this smells so good. So honestly, I love this one because of the shimmer that it adds. So I'm gonna do it on my shoulders and probably on my legs, just so that it gets that like shimmer. And honestly, as we go through the night, when the lights get dim, you'll see me glistening in this. And then to top that off, because this does have a scent to it, it's very like sweet candy like, I'm going to go in with another like vanilla type scent. This is Dolce & Gabbana, The Only One. They do have another fragrance that's called The One, but you want The Only One because The Only One smells so much better. You guys know I'm not really well with describing scents, so I will have this link down below if you want to know about the notes and all that. But this is like a gourmand. It's very vanilla. I will say that it is kind of powdery, like it's just super duper, I just love it. I smelled it with the top on, but yeah, it smells like vanilla, but it's a very layered scent. Like, it's not just a straight sweet. It does have some other notes in it that give it more dimension, if you will, and it does smell like very powdery. I don't know how to describe that, but it smells so good. I love this. This is like my go-to scent, and it's on the cheaper side of perfumes. Like, it's no more than like $100. So yeah, and yeah, that's it for this story time get ready with me. Let me know how I did. This is my first story time get ready ready with me. So let me know if I did a good job like telling the story. In the comments, let me know a time that you went on spring break. Was it good? Or a time where you went to Miami, and yeah. Friendship lasted through Miami, okay? And if yours didn't last, I don't know, like, was it really a friendship? Down in the comments, let's talk about your spring break, or if you haven't gone on a spring break before, tell me about a trip. But yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I will have the link down to this hair, all the fragrance, my makeup products, my accessories, all linked down below if you want to shop. And yeah, you guys, I'll see you all in my next one. Bye guys.